Whoops. Okay. Good. Yeah, with this, it's not that it's the sound issue is going to be embedding a stream in a stream is not live is tough. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're right. I didn't want to.
Yeah, I think and it's distracting if we're going to sit and listen to it and then talk to some people at the same time. It's just just.
I agree.
Yeah, it's so difficult. I've seen some of these kind of when you're supposed to watch it and view it together with someone. It's rarely fun. But I'm very curious to what the announcements are.
Oh, it's going to be all the Castle Zagging stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I missed a button here. So, Patrick, you got my message. Thank you for the box. Including that one adventure.
More goodies.
Yeah, including this adventure I've never seen before. It's It's an old school essential, so I'm going to keep it. The Tomb of Firkin. So, I'm keeping that one. Lots of goodies though. Hey, Jim. Multitasking. You got so much. Can you guys hear me, by the way? Please just someone say in chat. Yes.
I do.
All right. So you can hear me. Okay. Good. Just want to make sure we're all good here. Checking that. What's up, Chris? Just getting started here. Waiting for Mike to come on. Go over some things here. I didn't put the mass shout-outs to everyone. I just didn't have time today with all the individuals, but everyone will get it. Yeah. Good to see you. We're early. Just trying to get things rolling here.
week is good. Yep.
I got all the pictures together. I found all the pictures from all of Altamira, and now I can start going through them and doing all that
good.
fun stuff. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did some experiments. I'm going to mention that a little bit in the shout outs at the end.
Nice.
And I'm going to post some more stuff about what inspires me. I'm on a virtual inspiration tour. I'm going to mention that too in the shout outs. So, yep. Which is fun. So I'm going to write this a little bit of a series of articles about that part. How to combine hobbies, so to speak.
Long day, yes. I had a long day, Alderon. I drove a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, Tuesdays and Wednesdays tend to be my long travel work days. Just I can work my schedule out that way. So yeah.
Glad you don't have to sleep over some hotel somewhere.
I haven't for a while, but that's we don't. Probably not having a Legend Lure next Wednesday because I got a work dinner and it's gonna go who knows how late. So I can't get out of that. So this will be last Legend Lure for 2 weeks. So we'll have one next week. We'll come back when we have to. So.
Then we'll see. Then I'll try to do a mapping.
That'd be cool.
Next week so we can fill that
awesome.
slot. Yep.
That's great. Thanks, Fuzz. Oh my gosh, we almost got a hype already. Now for Mike still.
Yeah.
I know, I got it worked out. They're going to be on for like 45 minutes, and then they're going to raid into here. I already got it worked out. You know, and I'm going to stream it at the exact same time I'm streaming all the time, but you know, it's getting old. But I got it all worked out. Chuck, so. Yeah. Oh, look at that. We got a hype chain over here. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. Thanks, man. Here, I'll come live so everyone can see those. How's that? We won't even go to the entrance screen. But it's not showing them. Uh-oh. What's going on? It's not showing. Probably that's broken. Oh, man. It's not showing it. Let me try this. Oh, it shows that. It won't show your gift subs there. That sucks. I tried. All right. Well, I guess we'll go with the ad screen then. What's going on? We'll be right back. Yeah, there. We'll walk him. We'll give him a. I was gonna do that because Wayne did all the. And I repressed the button. It didn't do anything. Thank you. No, I felt like boing.
It's okay. Yep.
So we got at least two. We got at least 2 classic D&D reprints now tonight. My gosh, do I have a lot of stuff here. I'll just put this pile over here. Ugh. Got some good stuff. Insane, isn't it? Alright. I think I'm good here. Getting stuff running around. Alright, so we don't know where Mike is, but it's 7:53. We'll come on at 7 minutes early. Now we're back. Just getting stuff all together here. So, good evening, everyone. So, how's everyone doing tonight? Anna, how are you? Things are good.
Yeah.
Mike is, I guess, I didn't see a message from him. He's probably just running late. Um, but we know, we know that there's the Troller Games thing going on, and we also know that Blue Box is on. So there's going to be a lot of Blue Box will probably be raiding in at some point, and just things are up and rolling here. So it's all good here. So some Greyhawk Con updates. How's that sound? How does that sound here as we're waiting?
Yeah.
We get rolling here. All right. So I still, yeah. I mean, it's all good. I mean, what am I gonna do? They'll be here. It's a 45 minute. What I was told, it's like 45 minutes. And they're just gonna have Luke on. They're gonna talk about the at least you and I don't have to do any depositions now. It sounds like, which is good, Annie. We
Yeah.
don't need to get on there and depose. All right, so we're missing 4 events that I know of. Well, yeah, 2 that are 100% definite. So if I come here and I go to scheduling, just let's see what we got. We got more that have come in, and let me just set this up to. I always got to do this every time. 100 per page to show them all. So, and please note, here comes Mike. Please note that we have it. I'm going to be streaming. Hey, Mike. We're babbling a little bit because there's so much stuff going on. I'm going to be streaming on Saturday from 9 to 1. All right, I got a special game with Mike Disney and Heather Hex and Little Bird, and I think I got 7 players in that game. But I gotta stop what I'm doing, and at 12 noon on Saturday, I gotta have this go live. I can't have it go earlier because that's not fair. I can't have it go later; it's not fair. So it will only take 10 seconds, but I gotta stop, make sure my laptop's all set up, and then boom, go activate this so people can start signing up for events here. So let me do this by event number. Can I do this by event number? Because these are all a jumbled mess. There we go. Okay. So what I'm missing is Eric Mengi. I talked to today, and Eric's going to put in an event that's going to be at 2 o'clock on Friday. He does not have that in yet, but he has all the details of it, right? Anna probably saw that in the chat. It's called
Yeah.
Blade Star. So, and it goes
Sounds interesting.
The City Watch of the City Greyhawk needs your help. A Night Watchman Guild member is dead, and the Watch has no. Thank you for the hype train. And the Watchman has no leads. Constable Derrida Fashion has asked you to investigate this unusual death. Can you solve the mystery before the killer strikes again? All right. So, and thank you for that hype. Really appreciate it. So that is Friday at 2. Okay, that'll go in, and then John's at Blue Box's 10 o'clock Saturday night game's not in yet. So, and then but beyond that, we got all these great games. I mean, you guys got a lot of opportunity for content coming up on to sign up for on Saturday, including 14 Greyhawk Reborn events, something from Carlos, something from Armin, Valmoku, there's Blue Box, Phoenix Iwaki, Troller Games. I forget who. It's not Curtis J. Hafner. It's someone else. This one, Ludwig Ergron. There's Anna, June Solar, Troy Cannibal, Josh Pop. Lots of great stuff. And then we go. If we scroll back up here, you got Oblivion Seeker Less, right? You got Wally Hobbit fan. You got Guild Superior. Saturday, yes, Saturday at noon. That doesn't mean they're not going to all fill, but like some stuff will pretty quickly. I'm going to change the joust to 5. Let me do that right now. Watch. You can watch me do it. Here we go. Edit. Come down here. Max tickets. Bing. There. It's done. Done. All right. We got 5 now for Virtual GrowdCon open signups. So, yeah, that's, oh gosh, you got to redo it over. I mean, this is the thing with this the coding. It's back in a jumbled mess. I'm just going to leave it like that. So, yeah, that's what's going on. Please check them all out. Registrations, you can register all the way up through the beginning of the con, and you can put in events all the way through October 1st. But just note that these are the ones that go quickly. Wasn't Blade Star a Saturday morning cartoon? BB, that I think was one that had 8 episodes. It was weird. It was like, do you remember that? Was that the one with the guy who was was an astronaut and he went to another planet and there were the halfling look-alike things with the tree? Am I remembering that right?
I have no idea
I
about that.
think that's the one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Enoch Tim. Yeah, I think that is the one. I could be wrong, but yeah. I'm almost positive it's that one. So, Mike, what are you excited to sign up for?
I'll be excited with whatever's left.
Oh, okay. that's
but
funny.
that's a role to fill to the sympathetic participant.
That's
so to
awesome.
Speak. Yep.
I like that. I like the way you just, that was a good way to put it up there.
Yep.
So, yeah, I will be excited with whatever I get.
Yep.
Okay. Well, honesty is the best way to go. Anna's game is all open signups. None of her regulars are in this.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is I wanted to run. I might stream or run a regular campaign session in my campaign too, and invite someone. But that will be more kind of an on the side thing. I wanted to run something for signups only, so to speak.
Right.
So like a full. So it will be part of my campaign. It will be an official adventure, but it will not be. It will be with the temper. But you will notice that Ertin and a couple of the other NPCs that I had last year, they will make a comeback this time if the players pick them, so to speak. Because I will have a number of pre-gens made, and then it will be up to the players to pick what they want to play.
Very cool. So, hey, Laser.
Hello.
So, Rob Kuntz is chatting in Cannon Fire right now, and then I saw Carlos post, "Oh my God, the day I can't talk, Rob is on." And then I think Dale said to him, "Rob's on a lot now." And so I just sent him a message. Said, "Rob, you got to learn how to watch, sometimes." Yeah. So all right, well, we got a ton of content. There's still, and if Alan Grohe is able to DM, that's 2 more. So that's 4 game events that aren't in here. But they got to get in by Saturday. I'm pushing. So just
now I'm getting asked, do I run games at GaryCon? Several, like 4 or 5 people have asked me the last 2 days.
So what I would say to that, Anna, is you can't Saturday, right?
Exactly. I might be so busy that might not be.
You can Thursday morning or Friday morning.
Yeah.
I'm DMing during those times, and I have,
I'll ask Josh that too, and he will see if my schedule is that.
Don't let Josh's head blow up like that. So, Alex, I would hope she would run something, or maybe Founders and Legends even.
Yeah.
So, But like I said, I have 6 games I have set up DM'd, 3,000 games at Founders and Legends. Okay, 4-hour stretches. I want to run the whole, get the Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun done. I want to do the whole thing. You don't have to sign up for all 3, but depending on what part you sign up for, that's where you're going to be. And then a puppets, and then some, and then the 2 group games with open sign up. So we got a lot of really fun stuff there. And Mike shows up and he runs side games a lot, right, Mike? You're a side gamer.
Yeah, I don't like being held down by schedules.
Yes. Mike has his crew of, has his entire crew of wonderful people that he brings. So, he hangs and does that, which is perfectly fine. And those games appear to be very fun last year. Okay, enough virtual GrowCon talk. All right, factions, organizations, and guilds. What a fun discussion. So, how do we start this? Let's just chat up. Thanks, Bill.
I want to start with the dry definitions of things a little bit.
Yes, that's a good way to start.
My analytical side to it, so to speak, and this is my pet peeve about in-game perspective and like a setting perspective, or from a campaign in-game perspective, or from a player DM perspective, so to speak. And organizations and guilds, they are entities in the setting, so to speak. They are things that are actually there in the setting. They are knightly orders, religious orders, cults, guilds, and stuff like that. They have a name, they have a leader, they have members, and all of that, so to speak. Factions is something I look at it much more from a mechanic standpoint. That's something that I, as a DM and world builder and campaign builder, put together. They might not exist as an entity in the game setting. And one example, I can have a faction where I say, who are of the city officials are corruptible. For instance, I say, in this city, the following mighty people in the city council are corruptible for whatever reason. So they might not even be aware of each other, but they are a faction of weak ones or whatever, or something. Or who on the IUC and payroll might be the ones that think about striking it out on their own, meaning they might want to overthrow him or do something like that. So I bunch them together as a faction, even if they not necessarily are a faction in the game. So that's how I use the term faction, more as a way for me as a DM and a world builder to organize things. And organizations and guilds and various other forms of the knightly orders, whatever, they are entities in the setting, so to speak.
Okay.
That's one of the things that I use the term, so to speak.
This is a wide gamut discussion,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just not only
Yeah.
knighthoods, but avenging groups, city guilds, weird stuff.
Yeah.
Secret societies could fall under this, and I've done my research on a lot of, but I guarantee I don't have them all. I don't have all the documents I'm going to need. So, yeah, Mike, what is your synopsis thought on this discussion?
I guarantee I have less than you. I might agree with Anna, maybe a little.
Okay.
I mean, you can have a faction, but it's like not a. It's just like a coalition that gets together, and it's not like an official thing.
Yeah.
So, like, you could be the head of, on the ruling council of a city, but you're also in a faction. You can be in two things. You can be in the guild, and you can be in a faction.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
100%. No.
Yeah.
But the faction is like, not official. It's the unofficial. The other one is official.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say you could be in a faction, a guild, and an organization.
Exactly. Yes, definitely.
So
just like. Sorry.
I'll give you an example. Say you're in a guild. The Night Watchman is technically a guild, right? In Greyhawk. This is a perfect example. The Night Watchman's a guild. The character, and you guys are all going to laugh, but Walt has a character named Alphonse D'Amato. Okay. Name for, yes.
That's fun. That's good.
Clerk Bounty Hunter. He's the second in command now, the Night Watchman behind Garvin. He's an adventurer in the group, the Iron Brigade. So that's like an organization or a faction. And then he, being a Knight of Ulick. That's right. There you go. I mean, there's three right there. So you could be in multiples. Multiples of it. So, oh yeah, absolutely. Different
as long
levels.
as they don't
Here comes Blue
conflict, right?
Hello.
Yeah, as long as they don't conflict, absolutely. Whoops, that's a wrong button there. But that's the game on Saturday. I didn't mean to shout that out. I was trying to shout John. I was trying to shout out Blue Box. Hey, good to see you, John. So, the Horn Society, yeah, that's a government organization. So that can't, that's another one here. So it's good to see you all coming over. It was a great discussion. I was not watching anywhere near as much as I should have been, just because of all the stuff going on. But it sounds like Mr. Schwab had a really nice discussion with you all, and it sounds like he's going to play in the fundraiser, which is awesome. So in Greyhawk City, only the sewer sweeps can interact with the Audi and gelatinous cubes who will be charged for replacement expenses. Well, they also. Well, here, all right. So we can just run right here, because Bill's on now. Let's go to Guilds of Greyhawk and let's go. And he said he has his favorite, and I have my favorite, and we know where I'm going right away. I'm going right to the Guild of Gravediggers and Embalmers, because his character Salen is the we have a lot of deputies, guild masters in my campaign. He's the deputy guild master behind Selzik Gabayik. He's also the one that tried taking over the entire world at one time, but putting the crown on his head. That's a story for another time. But yes, the Gravediggers and Embalmers Guild, and he said, "Didn't I stuff your uncle last week?" And that was Selzik. And Selzik has a weakness that I created. Which you can get him to do stuff. Bill, you want to put that in, you can. Thanks, John. Really appreciate it. And thank you so very much for the support. We're just talking about Virtual GrowCon, and that you got a special Saturday night game, which will be great. Delusions of Greatness. Well, everyone has delusions of greatness, Bill. Especially you. You got the name Master Crafter. I mean, that's pretty delusional. I'm just kidding. I thought that was fun.
It's not Bill the Crafter.
It's not Bill the Crafter. Bill the Crafter sounds like someone I really do have chained in the basement. Instead of the Master Crafter.
Yep.
That's awesome. That would be great. Boy, if you didn't see the terrain on Thursday, you're going to see it on Thursday night this week and Saturday. Just some unbelievable stuff coming up. So, but the Great Guild of Gravediggers and Embalmers goes deep into Greyhawk. They just don't, there's some underhandedness there. They're animating some undead, and they're giving them to the Guild of Street Sweepers and Sewermen, right? And they're letting them clean the sewers with them, underhanded, So there's a lot of that going on. What's that, Mike?
Synergy.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Hey, Razmatad. So he is a master crafter. Need oil for these chains. Yes. Well, you like chains. That's what your wife says. So I'm kidding. Having fun tonight because I'm so tired. All right. So why don't we all bounce around? You guys can give us suggestions. I got Earth Journals. I got Living Greyhawk Gazettes ready. I got all sorts of books ready. I have these 3rd edition books, which are great. Bill, I know you want to stick around for Your Cries for Mercy Only Make Me More Angry, which is in this book here, Sword and Fist. Yep. So, all right. Anna, why don't you go first? And we'll pop up some.
Okay, I'm going through I have a faction list in my Obsidian here, and one that I think I've missed. I want to start a little bit obscure, but still might have missed. I'm not sure where this one comes from, but I've written it down and took notes a long time ago. Okay. And it's the Tellus Ve Turu Decada. And don't quote me on the pronunciation of that at all, because that is probably Velondi. And this is the Keepers of the Crowns and Moon in Velondi. It's a society dedicated to halting the spread of evil throughout the land whenever and however possible. And it's the Tellus, and it's they were formed in 491, and they're more kind of a secret society of like-minded people who want to help out spreading it. And now when IUs started invading and stuff, so it's Forion de Veluna and probably High Folk and that area, and they kind of collaborate together. And now after the invasion, they got way more to do, so to speak. So they are kind of a secret society that kind of keeps doing it. There's quite a bit of stuff. So I'm going to do a search and see if I can find the source of this info and see if I can.
He likes.
Might be in Dungeon 160 063. But
I have.
Hang on, they are in Encyclopedia Greyhawkia from. So I'm going to.
Is that a search site?
Yep. The Keepers. Keepers.
It's the same as the Zavoda Index.
Okay. Yeah, Zavoda Index.
The Keepers. Yeah. Okay, but are they Fanon? I've never heard of them.
I'm not so sure if they're Fanon or not, so to speak. So Keepers and let's see, where do we have Keepers here? I'm bad at navigating. That's T. So let's see here. I'm kind of curious now.
So all right. Well, Anna's looking at that, Mike. Why don't you throw something out there for us?
Let's go back to those embalmers.
Yeah, sure.
Ooh. Yeah.
One of the things I think is interesting about the embalmers and gravediggers is you have to get a death certificate from them.
What?
Yes. Yes, you do.
And until you get the death certificate,
I got so much.
the city will keep taxing.
You're still alive.
They will keep taxing. Yeah.
You could be dead, but you're still alive in the which is awesome. Yeah. And also a surprisingly good relationship exists between this guild and the Thieves Guild. Helped by the fact that Guildmaster Bodmi Har Adil sits on the directing oligarchy as friends of, so there you go. The thieves do not attempt to break into this guild hall. Oh, that's gem cutters. Duh! Yeah. So, yeah.
So I just find that interesting. Working in government now, like I do, and things like marriage certificates and death certificates. I think it's very interesting that, in the game, you would have to get that piece of paper to get village ready off your back.
Right. And, well, you can make anything as bureaucratic as you want, right?
Yeah.
In the world of Greyhawk has its moments with that excessively.
Yeah.
So I was doing research, and I'm going to bring up the one. I thought I took a picture of it.
I can just mention it real quick. It's from Dragon 256.
Okay.
Yep. Hidden Agendas and Organizations by Andy Miller.
Oh, okay. Andy Miller. Well, that's good.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So
right.
there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's on page 49 of the Dragon 256. Yep.
I don't know if I have that one in my thing.
Yep.
Here.
That's the source of it. Yep.
I don't have that ready to go here.
Yep.
So Dragon 256.
But then people can find it. So yep.
There's a lot of references for Seekers here, and when I looked up this, the Scarlet Brotherhood has something called Death Seekers, and before we do the Seekers, which is big, Death Seekers and Far Seekers, which I had never heard of before. Mike, do you know anything about them?
Well, sure, yeah.
Far
Seekers is a faction.
Okay.
Faction in the Scarlet Brotherhood organization. And I believe they are, their whole shtick is they want to explore more of the Flannis. Or not the Flannis, Orth. They're like, they don't want to go to war. They want to go
Here they are,
south.
Far Seekers.
They want to go south.
This splinter group
and east
ignores the immediate goal of conquering the Flannis and instead pushes for an increase in exploration of the Flannis at Monterey and Medio. Most of this faction are citizens who found intriguing and fantastic items and places in their journeys throughout the outworld and wish to find more. The Far Seekers oppose the methods of the Strong Hand, but not the factions that prefer subtler means, such as the Red Blades and Bankers. Well, that's pretty cool. Oh, Patrick, thank you. Hey, Gary.
And for context, the Strong Hand faction in the Scarlet Brotherhood is the ruling faction. They have the most high-level members, and that's why the Scarlet Brotherhood went to war in the Greyhawk Wars.
Okay. So there are a lot in this book, and we don't have to go through all of them now because
a ton.
Is there any here? Like here's Strong Hand. So as Mike just mentioned, so let's discuss them. The members of the Strong Hand faction espouse active military campaigns to take over the Flannis. So let's just say, Gore novel. It's probably the Strong Hand that's in Strand Cape Castle. Would you assume, Mike? Oh, John, thanks.
Possibly.
Yeah.
If it has anything to do with military engagement, yeah.
That's very kind. So, well, you're gonna see more of them tomorrow night. Then that's all I'll say in my game, because I've actually utilized them because I need to brutalize someone. It gets old brutalizing the slavers, right, Anna, and the humanoids. Let's brutalize the Scarlet Brotherhood a little bit. Mike, any of these you really like in this book?
The other factions?
Yeah, here.
Let's see. I think one that makes sense is the Brotherhood Arcane, because wizards are not part of the Triumvirate, and they want to be part of the ruling the ruling council. I also think probably the thieves majority makes a lot of sense because the thieves would be the big have the most numbers, but it's a minority rule in the Scarlet Brotherhood if you think about it.
Right.
There's fewer monks, probably just a little more assassins, and then a lot more thieves. So it's a minority rule almost.
Okay.
Other than that, the bankers faction,
Yeah, I just
which
saw
seems
that.
kind of self-explanatory,
Yeah,
it
that's
makes
pretty
a lot of
funny.
sense. If the Brotherhood, and I think the bankers after the drug wars, the bankers probably threw up their hands like, well, we're screwed. How can you financially dominate the Flamis when your first move is attacking everyone, every port nearby you. So I'm sure that faction is done for.
I don't see a Ouija faction in here, BB Fan Fun, for them.
There's two.
Oh, there
There's
are. Okay.
two.
Okay.
The Cabal of the Ever Burning Flame and the Eyes of the Stern Lady.
Well, those are, oh, they're right next to each other. Those are
Yeah.
pretty impressive names.
Yeah, there's like so many, and, I think every Soul God has a faction. So it's like I think there's too many factions in that book. If I were writing it or rewriting it, I would tighten it up a little. Like, come on, Ouija has two factions, but I would tighten it up a little more. Maybe have the temples just be a faction, all the temples. Try to find more common ground.
So Rex Fells asked a question: how do you handle PCs who want to join a faction? That's easy. So it depends on where you are, and in the course, especially city adventuring, it's perfect. The course of RP,
Perfect.
but you keep them on the fringes. You don't go, hey, here's our headquarters and all. You have a contact. This is how I handle thieves. You have a contact for Thieves, Assassins, or Bounty Hunter Guild, the liaison, and that's who they deal with. And that liaison doesn't take them to show them all the secret ins and outs of workings of the guild. And my Greyhawk, like I said, we have a member of the Night Watch. We have a Gravediggers and Embalmers Guild. We have members of the Teamsters. There's a Pete and John's Teamster service, right? We have all sorts of things going on. We also have the Order of Ulick has a headquarters there too. So there's all sorts of stuff going on. Yeah, great.
In the box set,
like I said,
in the box set, a lot of the guilds have guild houses. Some don't have guild houses.
right. It's a reprint.
So some are very public, and he even says in the book how much it costs to join them. If your PC wants to fix up the bar and join the, Brewers and Ostlers Guild, well, it's easy. It's easy.
I have one guy who goes to the college. He has a monk. He's like Van Wilder. He goes every year because the new class of sisters come right. You get the idea. So I have one who belongs to the Bard School. In my game, Bards don't get 10% earned experience, but if they go to the Bard School in Greyhawk and they go and they learn for something, then they get 10% bonus to their experience. So just some little tricks and trades. This is, like I said, this is the best publication for Greyhawk ever, just because of the options here. And we'll go over some more of these that are in here because there's some that are so basic but are so awesome. That you wouldn't think about. Here's the Guild of Night Watchmen. They have a whole chapter about them. Great organization, and it's a guild.
I liked the affiliation rules that Sam is talking about. I used them a handful of times. It's interesting that your primary job is adventurer,
right?
And you might have in 3.5 you'd have a prestige class. So hey, I'm a Knight of Holy Shielding, but I'm also affiliated with I guess that would be like Amos faction and affiliations.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Knight of the Holy Shield is an organization, right? And then from there, you got the guild. The guild's around a common purpose, right? Usually for business or some kind of for existence, right? Living, and then I'd say a faction is an organization, usually in the cause of adventuring, but not always. I mean, Anna, what are your thoughts on that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but and I think it's kind of they should be varied and stuff. And what you said about the Thieves Guild, it's kind of interesting. If you get an open invitation to the Thieves Guild and come to this house, it's probably because they want to murder you and get you out of the way, so to speak. So they want to give you the secrets, and then they to show, so to see if you are dumb enough to go there or something. So you can kind of play with their reputation. But sometimes in some cities, guilds that should be secret might want to show off their power by not being secret. If you can run an open thieves guild and put a sign out, that's a signal to everybody, we run this city. You might not want to do it officially, but that's the way of telling everybody you run the city, so to speak.
Factions are political.
Yeah.
Usually, Phantom. Usually they are.
Mm-hmm. In the medieval world, all the guilds were political. They're like unions in the real world and stuff. They put together in order to safeguard their interests and maximize their profits and make sure that no one competes, so to speak. That was one of the main things with the guilds, was to make sure that it was to create an oligopoly, so to speak.
Monopoly?
Not a monopoly, because they wanted to have enough so they could satisfy the market, but not more, so to speak. So it was a way of safeguarding the quality and all this stuff, but it was also a way of controlling the number of people that did something, so to speak, that did brew beer or whatever, so to speak, in order to maximize the profits for the people that were in the business. It was a business organization and a labor union all in one, so to speak.
I don't doubt that, though we'll see here a lot of the guilds in the city of Greyhawk set are monopolies, and it says so.
Oh yeah,
the embalmers and gravediggers. Nobody else out there is.
Oh yeah, exactly. Nobody else did it, but
they're chartered by the directors.
But they wanted they wanted all the competition within the guild, but they wanted enough embalmers and stuff so it didn't become a problem, so to speak. But they wanted few enough that they could charge as much as possible for their service. So in that sense, it was like a few people should compete, but within the guild. They didn't want all that nasty stuff happening anywhere else, so to speak. It was a way of small regulated markets that they could regulate within the guild and so on.
Regulation.
I like this for the silvermen and street cleaners. Granted its charter following an outbreak of plague in the foreign quarter that rapidly spread, despite quarantine, to the river quarter via sewers. The union was originally a civic body funded directly from, so it gives you a lot of background in here, which is good.
And one other, I think, political aspect with guilds is that it also takes the guild the guild needs to pay to the city coffers, whoever runs the city, in order to be given that charter. And that's an example from the Gord books, where you have the Beggars Guild or the Thieves Guild and the Beggars Guild who want to in on their turf without paying their dues, so to speak. They just want to carve out a piece of that pie, and it becomes all the squabbly, so to speak. So guilds, you pay for protection and say that, oh, we are the whatever guild, the guilds of winemakers or brewers or something, and we want to make sure that whoever runs, but that no similar business can be run. But the city can simply say, well, the city's big enough, we can have another guild, unless you pay more. So it's in neutral evil cities, it's an extortion at every level, so to speak, between almost everybody. It's a harsh, tough world, even for the guild itself. So the guild might have reasons to hire adventurers to safeguard their thing and make sure that all the city, whatever, so to speak. There's a lot of politics involved in guilds, because that's where the money and the power and so on in a city usually lays, with the guilds in some way or shape or form.
All right, Anna, what do you got?
Okay, we have there's some and speaking of guild, I have one that is kind of a super guild in a way, the most boring organization, but we need to mention it, and it's the Mukollad Consortium. And
guild,
it's kind of a super guild. It's the merchant clans of the nations in the Bakluni lands, so to speak. So it's like
Aha.
this Silchus priesthood, I could say, in Erdi lands or something like that. So it's kind of these, and I think it's an example of, it's probably merchant guilds in a lot of Bakluni cities who have an umbrella organization of cooperating and regulating trades without the Bakluni lands, not within the cities,
Thanks,
but
Curtis.
within different, between Ekbir and Tusmet and Sif and in and out of the Bakluni lands, so to speak.
Did I see that in Living Greyhawk Gazetteer?
Yes, I think it. Yeah, I think
That's
that's
what
where
I
it comes
thought.
from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And to me, it's kind of interesting because it's one of these boring organizations that sounds as fun and interesting as the European Council or something like that. It's like, oh, they do stuff up there and paper pushers or whatever. But these are all the ones that there
There
might
it
be a
is.
lot of politics within them, and they might also have agendas and stuff that they hire
Thanks, Mike.
adventurers. They might do other stuff. They might also be a secret front to promote Bakluni interest in outside of Bakluni
It is a
lands.
multinational corporation.
Yeah. So these might be the ones that want to promote Bakluni
Look, they even
kind
talk
of
about
issues
all.
and stuff. And there's so many different ways you can use this organization in your adventuring, so to speak. They might be bureaucratic, whatever, pop up, so to speak, or they might hire adventurers to help them with the cause outside of Bakluni lands, or for evil or good or whatever, so to speak. So
I just asked Gary if he wrote it.
yeah.
Huh.
So it's one of these, I would say, a super guild, so to speak. It's one of
So
these. Yeah.
in the city of Greyhawk, there's a neighborhood in the foreign quarter called Little Ket.
Yes.
All right. So if you take that literally, like it's Little Ket, there's a lot of Ketite immigrants there, and there's Ketite shopkeepers. Let's
And Wazoo
use for
Hollow is
example.
Golden Scimitars there too, the adventuring group, if I recall.
So
Yeah.
if there is someone in Ket selling rugs, let's say, for example, the Mukwalad Consortium has in their overall organization determined that the city of Greyhawk, the territory of the city of Greyhawk, is for Ket merchants specifically for that specialty. That's what it says. They determine who has the right to what territories and what they sell. So if then you mix, suddenly your characters are from Ekber, let's say, and you open a rug stand next to this Ket one, the Mukwala is going to show up.
Or they might also have an trade agreement with Greyhawk and the city council, that the city council will go and effectuate their orders, so to speak, and whatever, and check on the stuff, and also take charges that the Mukola consortium gets some of the fees, the city of Greyhawk gets some other fees, gets some part of those fees, and they are the ones
They're probably
enforcing
not
them
as strong outside of the Backlunder's lands, of course.
Yeah.
But in the reading for the Living Gazetteer, disputes are settled by the appraisers of merit, and the loser can lose everything.
Wow.
So
and you might be hired as an adventurer to promote their agenda versus let's say the city of divers don't like the Mukola and say, no, we're not going to deal with them, and then you get hired by the consortium to sort out the business and bribe or influence the city council in divers to make sure that guild city council member that was the responsible for this decision needs to be punished or bribed or whatever and stuff. That's
it says it says that the consortium has few enemies and also few allies.
Well, I know who they have an enemy. Lord Brezen.
Yeah, but they might have few enemies because they are very ruthless in some sense.
They have
a lot of super
reach.
Exactly. Some very ruthless organization don't have that many enemies
beyond
because
the
a lot of people
they reach far west as well. And south. This organization is probably one of the strongest organizations there is in the setting.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to monetary, they might be able to bribe more than any, and then also dagger in the back if the bribes don't work, so to speak.
Fortunately, McQuall is a neutral god, and so they don't really
Yeah,
have much of a motivation beyond profit.
exactly, the profit, but profit motive is a strong motive in itself. So we know that. So yeah. But it's I wanted to mention it. One of these useful organizations or factions for gameplay, so to speak. You can
So I
play
think
many different
it would
roles.
be fun now to piggyback off that
Yeah,
and talk about the Royal Guild of Merchants of Erde, which is House Darman,
okay.
Yeah,
which might be the only rivalry
yeah.
for the Mukwalad.
Mike, do you have a
So
reference in what?
that's I use the Ibid the Undying.
Okay.
Ibid the Undying. It goes and say that the House Darman, which is predominantly the South Province, if I'm correct, they were given royal permission by Ibid the First to basically regulate all guilds in the Great Kingdom.
Page
Now that's a huge swath of land, equivalent to what the Mukwalad's working with, and that continues through all the Ibids, from cohesive Great Kingdom to now fractured Great Kingdom, I assume.
Here's Darman here. What's it called
And
again, Mike?
the Royal Guild of Merchants.
Okay, I see the Royal Fostering, Animus Nobles, Aristocrat Merchants. There's so much in here. And once again, I apologize. I don't know this anywhere near as well as I should.
Well, anyhow, so instead of McQuall, it's Zilchus.
That makes
I would,
sense.
I think organizationally it might be, ran just the same, just two mega merchant consortiums that operate in more than one country, more than one city. This one just happens to have the, backing of the Over King, whereas the Mukwalad's got more of a religious backing, I guess. So that's all I have to say on that. I mean, someone else might know more about House Darman than me, but
I can mention I have an NPC in my campaign, Ubika Darman. She is from that
Oh wow,
organization,
very cool.
and she is and represent. She's an envoy to. Hang on a second. I need to put her title in because it's kind of interesting. Ubika Darman. Yeah, she is the ground counselor, celestial dame envoy Ubika Darman. And so she's a Silshus priest from Karlstrand, and she's one of the high officials of this organization. And she's sent to the Shieldlands. Originally, she was stationed in Greyhawk for some time to facilitate good relations, so to speak, with the mighty city of Greyhawk. And now she's sent to Critwald for Needfest in order to check up on Katarina is spending a heck of a lot of money on military campaigns and stuff. And when there is a lot of money being spent, the Dartman priest sniffs business possibilities. And that's one reason. And also she wants to see what this Katarina is made of and the new order of the shield, what they're made of, and if that is either a possibility, a threat, or whatever to United Kingdom of Alyssa and her interests, so to speak. So she's there on a fact-finding mission that might yield possible things, and she's what you will call a management consultant in this day and age. She can help any lord and so on to earn more money and be more respectable in the sense of having more profits and secure their investments and stuff like that. So
is she lawful neutral or neutral?
She's flexible alignment, so to speak. So yeah.
Okay, so she's a business spy.
Yep. Yeah.
NPC.
Yep. NPC.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ubika Darman. She is born in 564. She's 35 years of age and
cool.
probably good for more money than most people in the Flanies. Yeah. And she carries the name Darman and she makes use of it too, so to speak. Yeah.
Excellent. I will go to. I'm going to go here because What's that, Mike?
The chat.
Oh,
Hager the Horrible.
Horrible
That's
is like
she's
yeah.
single.
She's single. She's manageable in that sense. If you're rich, she would definitely consider you, or powerful, or preferably both. Yeah.
Okay, so faction. This is the faction of Greyhawk edition of Earth Journal. So we got a lot of stuff in here, right? A lot of cool. So why don't we go to what Jason Zavoda said? Why don't we do that in honor of Jason? Let's go to page 18 and talk about the Guild of Lamplighters and Torchbearers, which I'm assuming is Greyhawk, but just to get a Jason thing out there and see what he wrote about it. Here we go. So, oh, it's a story. Okay, so this is a little mini story that he wrote, which is cool. And then down at the bottom, lamplighters wear a three-cornered hat with a candle in the brim when they're out and about. The Thieves Guild won't bother anyone wearing such to do ancient agreements between guilds. So that's good. So there's a secret faction of the guild recruited by the Thieves Guild who help with burglaries in the city. I did not know that. That's cool. The old profession of torchbearers become more symbolic than actual, and guild members perform carrying of the torch. All right, so nice thing from Jason here. I always love Greyhawk's stuff, and the Guild of Lamplighters works with the Night Watch, and they go out together on
synergy.
Yeah, some more synergy there. Let's see what else we got.
I think Lamplighters is one of those that doesn't have like a home office. They just do things.
You're probably correct. You're probably correct on that. Although they may,
some of the guilds are like big things and they have these halls and they all get together, and others are just more loose. Like, let's get together here this week.
Yeah, might not be if you don't have that much political ambition or so on. You don't need it, so to speak. You don't need to advertise or you don't need a lot of equipment that you need to safeguard and stuff. So, yeah.
So I'm awaiting their raid. Dale, they're going to raid in. Yeah, they're supposed to raid into us when they're done, and they're supposed to be done within the next 5 minutes, but that never is on time there. So Avatar Wrath, James, he's passed as well, correct? Am I correct on that? I hopefully I'm not saying someone who's not. Maybe I get them all. I get everyone confused. But let's go to 12. That's Jason as well. Here, the Black Sheep, Adventures of Great Renown. So here, adventuring groups. Adventuring groups are, what would you say, an organization? Not a faction, correct? What do you think, Anna? What are they?
I guess they could loosely be a organization, yeah.
Organization
yeah,
or a faction?
Might be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Adventuring groups are both. So he's
adventuring groups I could definitely have as a faction, especially if they get high level and influence.
Yeah. So my players back in 2E, they created the Adventurers Guild. Very original sounding, I know. But it was necessary, I think, because like adventuring groups would just be like a business. It's 4 or 5 people. But when all those adventuring groups like band together, then they might have some clout.
So I'm answering. I run a ton of adventures based on Knights of Gulick, based on the Night Watchman, based on other adventuring groups, based on an organization, for example, S&M Mining Interests Limited, which is they're at Hearthguard Tower in oh, by the way, I found something. I found this, Anna.
Okay.
I found finally. It took me 2 years. This is the original. That's the original low road map. I could not find the original one that they had done, and now I found it. So and it runs down. And for example, SM Mining Interests Limited is at Hearthguard Tower here that they've connected to it. So that's a dwarven organization. So the answer is I run a lot of adventures through guilds, factions, and organizations. Absolutely 100%. Yep, definitely. It's a good. N- Luke got
I
no
can agree.
Rex fellas. Luke had no idea about the Knights of Luna. Had no idea that Melf was the leader of it. Had no doing with it whatsoever. It's a sergeant thing. It was created out of thin air. Hence why I don't use them, because I already have an organization and it's in Earth Journal. I'll show that later on. Okay, Anna, you want to go next?
Yeah, let's take one more from Even the Undying. One that I think is both interesting and slightly difficult, and I think you can figure out why after a little bit. And it's called Midnight Darkness. It's an evil cult, as straight as evil cults can be, run by an evil bastard and going around trying to kill good ones. It can't be more straightforward than that. So in that sense,
Is
it
it
kind
an
of makes
assassin's
sense.
guild?
Kind of in a way that, but they are not working. They're not a for profit or mercenaries in that sense. They're ideologically motivated. I think it's more like they just want to spread terror, and you don't need to pay them to do what they do. You just need to give them a good target, and they will do
What's
it.
their name?
Midnight Darkness.
You're finding
And
ones I've never even heard of.
yeah, it's from Even the Undying
Oh,
and
okay. Well,
Secret
that's why
Society.
it's
So
on
yeah,
that side of the map, so it doesn't
and
come up. Just kidding.
it's run by a guy that is named or known as the Hidden Sickle, and he's Karniquisa or Karnquisa, yeah, and he is actually a priest of Tharistun, but he seems to do his job for Nerul the Reaper. And that's where I think things get a little bit complicated. It seems a bit like they're trying to do. It's a bit like the Ebon Triad or whatever. It's like you try to throw every evil possible into one organization and put a lot of stuff. So that's where I get a little bit. But to me, it will be more like keep. Don't try to mix all the evils into one basket, so to speak. But
Huh.
but it's there, so to speak. If you want a straightforward evil cult whose only motive is going around finding good people active in the former Great Kingdom, then the Midnight Darkness is your secret society. It's the cult for you. And it's it's simple, but there's a little bit of nihilist anarchists in a way. Yeah, I think it's part of in my campaign. I would have it that they will be more kind of it's part of Nerul's scare campaign. Oh yeah. Well, that's a classic wrong button. Most classic wrong button, yeah. But I would have it as a cult who Nerul runs in order to make sure that everybody's scared of him, so to speak. So in order as a like a lot of terror groups and stuff, it's part of their branding. They want people to be scared of them. That's the purpose, so to speak. It's part of branding, and that's where I would put the Midnight Darkness. So it's kind of an interesting. It's simple, straightforward. There's some names in there, but there's also a complication. It might be interesting. You might have it at there's two power figures from different factions in it, so to speak, to make it more interesting or something too. So you can kind of tweak it, but in some ways it's kind of simple and not very creative. But in some ways it's still a valid secret organization, so to speak.
Very cool. Anna, you're pulling out stuff I have no idea about, which is great.
Yeah, I would probably rename it to the Hidden Sickle and say it's Nerolites going around terrorizing or something like that. And I will also tie it in because Nerul is a flan, so I would have it that they target the enemy in more ways than one, so to speak. So you can twist something like that multiple ways. You can take it, it's pure against good. It's an alignment thing, but you can also say, it's an ethnical thing too. It's Flan versus Erdi and good versus evil, or both, or one of the two, or something like that. So there is multiple options you can run with that might fit in Greyhawk. Both of them or all of them, so to speak, might fit in Greyhawk. Yeah,
that's fantastic. Okay, Mike.
Yeah, to answer Rex in chat. So, player joining the Thieves Guild, City Grok Thieves Guild, how that would work with the group. This is my answer. The Thieves Guild, once you're beyond apprentice, so I'm going to guess this is an appreciably high level character. They are kind of assigned a quarter that they work out of. They have each quarter has a master thief that's in charge of the thieves under that. So the way you could do it is, oh, okay, your player is part of, he operates out of the foreign quarter. And then much like the Assassins Guild in the City Ground, they control who they target. They like to target outsiders. So if your thief and by extension the adventuring group are only going after non-Greyhawkers, then I think you'd be fine. And also only applying your thief craft in that one neighborhood, you'd be fine. So yeah, it's just a limiting thing that you're not just willy-nilly robbing everything and getting the entire adventuring group in trouble with the city watch or the rulers of the city.
Mike, are the two renegade ones the River Quarter and the Old City leaders? One of them is definitely River Quarter, but I'm not sure if it's Foreign and Old City. Yeah, two of them are in cahoots trying to overthrow.
Well, that's a faction thing then.
Yeah, I mean, that's
if the players get swept up in that, then fine.
Yes.
But if you're just playing things straight, your character has joined the Thieves Guild and the other players are all paladins, then his out is, well, he's not shitting where he lives. He's going to only go after these bad guys coming from outside the city and rob them.
Yeah, you got a lot of options. It doesn't have to be an all underhanded group to do a Thieves Guild adventure. You can have paladins and other classes even. You can still, it still works. So, Mike, do you want to share some other factions, guilds, or organizations?
Yeah.
So many.
Let's see. There was another question earlier on, it might have been Rex also, about the artisans. There's an artisans union and then the merchants and traders union. And I think the artisans union kind of makes sense because there's a bunch of little piddly guilds in the city of Greyhawk, tanners and leather workers and metal workers. I could see them all kind of banding together because
they're like an umbrella organization for the
none of these guilds have representation on the oligarchy.
Yeah.
So the only way for them to be heard is they band together all their
makes
guilds.
Sense. Yep.
And then the merchants and traders are the opposite coin. They have 4 seats on the council.
Yep.
And where I think the difference there is the merchants and traders union might be composed of either merchants that are citizens of the city of Greyhawk and merchants that are not citizens but apparently operate out of the city a lot.
You can have the Mukul and consortium paying for a seat together with others. You can have other countries, like you can say the Darman Silches. They might simply say, Ubica will say, well, we Karlstein, we're willing to pony up a lot of gold to have one seat there, so to speak, like promotional seats. Yeah.
So that merchants and traders union has way more power than they should.
Yeah.
But they also are dealing with all the other guilds. They are the supplier for all the other guilds' material.
Yeah. And they might also be the ones that control things going in and out of the city. What goes through the gates and what fees and taxes and stuff should be on goods coming in or out.
Yep.
Jeff.
Is Melf retired? We have no idea if Melf himself is retired. I rarely use him. I rarely use him in my campaign, but
an elf retire?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might happen once in a
Well,
millennium or
his son's
so.
half elven.
Oh, there you go. Mhm.
Smelf, son of Melf, or
Yep.
Eliator. Yeah, and you'll see him at Virtual GalCon in the joust. He went to the semifinals last year. Mike, did you want to bring up anything else?
Just jumping around a lot
I
here.
know. I love it. We always do on these shows.
So another thing with the Merchants and Traders Union, it says in the box set, my favorite growth supplement there is, that a non-citizen merchant can be part of this union, cost them 30 gold pieces a year. A citizen of the city of Greyhawk who wants to join the Merchants and Traders Union, only 15, which is hilariously
Oh my God!
cheap.
Sorry. You know, the buttons are
Wow.
reversed. So,
you there?
no, you know what?
Touchy
Somehow I
fingers.
reversed the buttons. They're next to each other. Oh my gosh! Sorry
Mhm.
about that. Here's a merchant. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hilariously cheap.
Yes, it is. And here's the Merchant Traders Union, which is huge. Yeah.
Now, to talk about factions again, within the directing oligarchy, there are factions, and probably the biggest faction, of course, is the thieves, because you got the Guildmaster of Thieves, the Assistant Guildmaster of Thieves, and half of the Merchants and Trader Union are in cahoots with the thieves. I can't remember if there's another member of the thieves, but the thieves have a voting block that's very strong in the city.
There's a dwarven assistant guildmaster, Stimchin Canase, who runs the day-to-day business of the union. So the dwarves are all mixed in too. Gloretta Buchanan and all those. There's a lot of dwarves running around Greyhawk that are just money grubbers. So yeah, you got that. So yeah, everyone's itching to click these emotes. So thank you.
Well,
thank you very much.
And there's dwarves in the sewer union.
Yep.
Sewer rats.
Yes, there are lots of dwarves, which is not a bad thing. I know, isn't it crazy?
Probably just because of demographics. There's definitely. Now I think more about it. Definitely more dwarves in the city of Greyhawk than there is outside. Wouldn't you agree?
One more time. There's more in.
Okay, Anna, would you agree there's more dwarves in the city of Greyhawk than in the domain outside the city?
Well, no, I would say the other way around, because I think over in the Upper Alps and stuff, there are probably way more druids.
Those populations for Graysmere are just tiny.
Graysmere and
and
Caracast and which one am I missing?
Yeah, but I would have them more, and I don't see that there are hundreds and hundreds of dwarfs in the Greyhawk City. Probably a couple of hundred, but or something. But I would think that I haven't thought too deep about it, but I would think that there are more living out in those communities
that'll have to come up in our demographics.
Yeah, exactly. We need to But it depends on how you interpret the population numbers, because that's one of these contentious topics.
What's the third one? I'm gonna have a stroke.
Dumadan, but it's not. Yeah,
no,
but that's not. They're technically their own domain, so they're not part of the or their own realm. They're not part of. They're not under the thumb of Greyhawk.
Which one has the seer? It's Dumadan, right?
Dumadan has the yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's stay on Greyhawk then. So I'm going to go to, well, first thing, Sam, what's up? You looking forward to Saturday? Classic Sam's first time. And that's wrong. I hit the wrong button. Oh my God, I've hit so many wrong buttons tonight. There we go. Sam's first time playing. She's playing a half elf, Sylvan elf fighter from the gnarly forest. Ha ha ha. So let's just start scrolling, and let's talk about the depth of adventuring groups that is in this book, in these books, because there are a lot of them. So if we start here, oh my God, I'm not going to find them. The Fellowship of the Torch is the first one, which is in here somewhere, and then from this one they expand on it, which I have that prepped. So let me just go there. All right. Adventurers and Mercenaries, the Fellowship of the Torch. You have an update on the Fellowship of the Torch from the Wars, and then they go crazy with all these other adventuring groups you can work with. And I'm going to show you what I did. Wasm Carla's Golden Scimitar. Picture of that group right there. And that's the one I think they're from, if I recall, they're from Tusmit. So, and then you have the Gnarlymen, which is my kids group now because all the original Gnarlymen died. Good Men of Rilthane, Fighters of the Light, one of my favorites. Corellan's Arrows, The Breakers, a ton of adventuring groups. From that, we go to Earth Journal 29, and I must do this because of BattleTech, but I have a thing called the Free Swords of Greyhawk the City article. This is the factions book in 29. 29 factions? Folk. This is Domain of Greyhawk Folks. This is the Folks version of Greyhawk. So we're going to go to page 27. And from here, I talk about all the guilds in Greyhawk because in Altamira and Harby and Greyhawk, I have Mercenary Guild Halls, which is an organization in itself. All the mercenary groups are brought into the guild hall, and that's where missions are posted, just like in, you would see in a consortium of trying to keep things organized. This is where you go to hire a mercenary group, and this way they can control the money coming through too. So from this, I took a group, and a lot of these are published source, and a lot of these are not, and mixed them in. And here's the Greyhawk listing. There's some others now with all the venturing going on. This is a couple years old, and then the discussion on all the groups are here, so you can look through this at your leisure. A whole bunch of different groups, and that's fun. Like I said, I do this in Harby, and I do it in Altamira too. A listing of all different great characters, which is always a fun thing. Because, like I said, you can be a member of an adventuring group, but you can be also a member of a knighthood, or you can be a member of a guild, because you may have a skill, and you may work on the side. You may be a dark worker, or you may want to be an infiltrator of a guild, which is always a fun thing to do. We've done that all the time. Thank you. Like, for example, the Dark Workers Union in Harby. They've come across them multiple times and fought them multiple times on the docks. I've done that one streamed multiple times. Ed is
my character in Rich's campaign was a dock worker.
There you go. For Harby or
no, Naresban.
Okay, that's
cool.
This is 29. This is 29. This is the Folks one. Yep. So, and there's some discussion now. Some of the things are not completely up to date, but you can just because things have moved forward from this point on. But the Gnarlymen are in here talking about my kids group with my son and Bill's son are listed. Their characters are listed in here, which is kind of cool. So, okay, Anna, what do we got?
Well, let's see here. We have. Let's talk about one that is contentious a little bit. I mean, we need to mention it when we talk about organizations and factions and stuff, and that's the Knights of Luna. We just need to mention them a little bit because they're one of these organizations that I think are kind of cool. They are a latecomer to Greyhawk in that sense. In when it comes to the lore, they were not there in the original box set or folio or from the Ashes. It's a later edition. I think it's Living Greyhawk, guess it here or that era.
It's from the Ashes box set.
Or is it from the Ashes?
Oh my God!
See, you
oh my
gosh. Don't keep touching that.
Let me see if I can flip them. All right, I tried flipping them. I hope it works. So okay, I was like, what the heck? Hey, good to see you, Three Geese. Thank you for coming. I bet this is great. All right, here, Prince Melf and the Knights of Luna, which he had nothing
there you
to
go.
do with.
Exactly, I was going to say, it's sorry, Mike.
Are they a knighthood or are they like the Knights of Columbus?
They're like the Knights of Columbus in my game because I can't stand
yeah. Well, see, it's written. The Knights of Luna is an elven order of knighthood dedicated to preserving the monarchy of Selene and the noble traditions of the elves throughout the Flanese. And to me, it's not a warlike that they go out and fight much, so to speak. It seems
plate armor. going around with lances.
Yeah, my guess from that description, they're more like a political organization of knights and stuff that are old and respected and distinguished and stuff, who works more to recruit the right people, talk to people, influence people, and then send out people to do missions and stuff in order to safeguard things. And it's to me, it sounds more like a nice way of putting a fancy title on something covert that you want to do things. It's like, yeah, I shouldn't mention real world analogies, but there are plenty. So start thinking of that. A lot of nations want to, and realms, you want to, the dirty things or the things that you want done under the table, you need to put like a really nice varnish on top of it. That's the sense I get here. It's the Selene is a good court, and the queen is supposed to be the nicest person on the planet, and so on and so forth. We don't mess in anybody's business, and we have these, and there are cultural assistants or whatever, and so on. But in reality, no, they're far from it. That I would have it that they talk to people and advise and inform and persuade and so on. But there's probably some other stuff going around too. At least I think it will be much more fun from an adventuring perspective if there is.
I'm gonna do it just because I feel like being a dick tonight. So I have a knighthood in Selene that predates the stupid Knights of Luna for 20 years.
I wanted that. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's in here, and it's in. So it's real because it's in an Earth Journal. So there you go. It's an Earth Journal 31. All right, here we go. It's the Selene Sis Forest Knights Watch. There's only 12 of them. I'll just show them real quick. Page 22. 22. I just I always. When Luke told me he had nothing to do with creating that, I was like, and here we go. Oh, look at this. Cartography by Mike Bridges. Greyhawkery.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yep.
So there you go. And there's history here of how they were formed. And look, there's your map, Mike. Your map made it.
And
remember that map you did?
Yeah, you called them what?
It's the Selene Sis Forest, the Sis Forest Knights Watch.
Gotcha.
The border
but you had another organization that I thought you were going to bring up that has an even cooler name.
What's that? Which one's that one?
Was it Corellan's Arrows?
Oh, no, yeah, we can do Corellan's Arrows is an adventure.
Yeah, okay, yeah, good, because I love that name. That is an awesome name. So I really, yeah. But please, I'm interrupting.
No, it's okay. There is no isolationism. That is all too. All right, sorry. There is no isolationism.
Yeah, that's where I put Knights of Luna in. That official policy of Selene is isolationism. In reality, Knights of Luna are the real policy makers and implementers, so to speak. They are the ones that, on the Queen's orders, they're out there actually helping the good guys, thwarting evil and doing stuff like that. But official policy of Selene is that we don't mess with anybody. We don't intervene. We just keep to ourselves. And in reality, they're anything but, so to speak.
Right. But they wouldn't exist in your campaign either, Anna, because you have Selene taking over the Duchy of Ulick. So they're not being isolationists.
No, they're not. Well, that's isolation, but they are facilitating policy when need be, so to speak. Oh, yes, but they had nothing to do with it. If you ask anybody, they had nothing to do with it. They just happened to be slightly beneficial on their part too, so to speak. So yeah.
I have family,
and everybody's happy. Yeah.
They're not trees, Jeff, but I have every single elf or half elf that's in every noble or lesser house of Selene in my campaign on a list. Okay, I do have that. Here's Corellan's Arrows. They're a mention of two paragraphs and from the ashes, and I've used this group extensively out of Greyhawk City. It says they're a group of 6 gray elves and half elves, all whom dual classed. So you can't use them in Living Greyhawk 3rd Edition, or your head will explode because I'll have 12 classes each. I'm just kidding. They're all from Selene, and all this is the thing, that they have a blue tattoo arrow on their foreheads. Now, one of Bill the Master Crafter's characters, a human, was dating one of them, and he couldn't get past the blue arrow tattoo on the head, and so he just ended it. I have these all named too. Yeah. Just the funny stuff. They have no truck with the Knights of Luna, fearing that the group might try to topple the Queen, whom they consider ill-served by her advisors. So look, even they can't stand the Knights of Luna. So there you go. And they have a bunch of they have a druid mage, and the rest are bowmen. So I have them all done up, by the way, if anyone ever
Cool.
wanted them. Yep.
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 That's
So,
awesome.
there you go.
They're now part of my campaign too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I
cool,
just
it's a cool,
put them in.
it's a cool
Yeah.
group.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real cool
Yeah.
group.
Yeah. I love the
Absolutely.
name too. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. So
I like Knights of Luna as a name and as an organization too. So I kind of like both. I really do. That's like taking making lemonade out of lemons, so to speak. So
yeah.
yeah, because I wanted it isolationism in name, but in reality, it's something else. So yeah.
Very cool. I'm just being
Oh,
petulant
I like
today.
it. And I totally agree with you. I don't like the isolationism
I
one
hate
bit
it.
either. I think it's terrible. It's like the neutrality, like that active balancing stuff that they keep peddling.
So I'm
Yep.
going to give you my reasoning behind this. It was Carl Sargent trying to turn Selene into Lothlorien. That's what he was trying to do.
Ah, yeah, he was very Tolkien-esque
He
in
was
his
very
elven.
Tolkien-esque with
Yeah.
it going over to Lendor
Yep.
Isle and all. That's what he was
Exactly.
attempting to do.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah. So we're past that now. So there we go.
Yep.
Mike, what do you got?
All right.
And then we'll go to Anna, and then then
Let's the City Guard box set is invaluable. It's got the most information in it. One of the fun things I want to go kind of off the rails a little bit about is how in this book it gives you random charts you can roll. Well, I guess random charts. It gives you charts on how many businesses there are in each quarter. Not for all the quarters, but like if you're in the old city, it will tell you how many different taverns or tailors there are. And so I got to reading it today and kind of adding up stuff, and I was crunching some numbers. Businesses open and close all the time, so there's going to be a range, right? So I have kind of a rough number of how many businesses there are in the city of Greyhawk of different types. I'm just going to throw out just for fun, like we did the inns episode. Apparently, there is 60 to 90 inns and taverns that serve food, and then there's 20 to 30 that serve no food,
just bars,
regular old little bars. Then there are the 24 to 38 food shops, so just straight up restaurants, whatever, maybe a little deli or something. I don't know, use your imagination. But I thought it interesting that they used the word food shop. Another one that really raised my brows, if you don't feel like staying at the local inn all the time, if that's getting a little redundant, there are 160 to 378 boarding houses. Tons of boarding houses. It kind of reminds me of today's culture now with all the Airbnbs. And then since Gary's here, there is 6 to 14 body houses, not BODY, BAWDY, Bowdy houses.
Okay.
So I'm just lumping them all together. I'm not saying where at in the city they are. I'm just saying in total, you can probably find a dozen of those kind of places. What was
Are they legal to operate in the city, or are they under the radar?
So there's no guild for it, unless it's under performing artists.
Yeah.
But the one that really surprised me was breweries. There's only 3 to 9. But I think what that was saying is that most of the taverns brew their own stuff. So this would be 3 to 9 places that just brew.
Yeah. So inns and taverns are allowed to brew for their own use, but not
I
sell.
think a lot of them do.
Sell in per barrel or per
I think
bottle.
It's just so every like the Green Dragon Inn, the Blue Dragon Inn, they might have their own Blue Dragon Ale or what.
Yeah.
And let's see, the last one that I thought was kind of interesting is I only saw 3 to 12 weaponsmiths and 2 to 7 armorers. So I don't know if that's maybe an oversight or something. I would have thought the city of Greyhawk would just be like bristling with those kind of shops, but maybe Iron Gate would be the one that have 100 weaponsmiths and armors.
So I think if you look at now, we got to remember how many people are in Greyhawk City? 60,000.
Yeah, yeah,
That's today's standards. It's hard to even put a mental
yeah,
perspective on that. But I'll say this: most of them aren't written down as actual locations. But I
yeah.
know in Expedition to Ruins of Greyhawk, they add an armorer and they add a weaponsmith location.
Okay.
Because I think Eric Mona must have said, "Well, these are short and we need these, and so he actually added some locations in, and Malden added a bunch of locations in, but didn't get to all of them, right? He
Yeah.
enhanced two whole quarter areas, Artisan, and what was the other area he added? Was it foreign? Artisan
Uh,
quarter and oh man, my brain just shut off.
Clerkburg, they did in
Clarksburg and Artisan
yeah.
quarter he added on, which are really lacking in stuff.
So yeah, while they weren't comprehensively talked about in the book, they still give you a number range if you as a DM wanted to add more of them. And it kind of would also give you then, and I the whole reason I did this was like there's a butcher's guild. Okay, so I went through, I'm looking, okay, how many butcher guilds are there? 4 to 13 butchers. So that gives you kind of an idea how strong this guild is by how many of them there are, at least in numbers.
Right. Okay, that's great. Uh, I would love for someone to. I just don't have time with all the other stuff going on, but to do what Malden did for Clarksburg and the Artisan Quarter, like the slums and all, they could be really expanded on locations. You know, there could be a lot more.
Well, and then Living Greyhawk also journal also expanded outside the city.
True, but how many of
Got all
those?
that.
Yeah, they expanded outside on the map, but I don't know if they
Yeah,
actually put the locations in of
there's a
what they.
few.
Yeah, okay, cool, very cool, Mike. What we got, Anna?
Okay, let's. I'm going to but I'm going to save that one. We have one for that. Well, let's do it so we get to it. And this I'm going to. This is one of the one that I think are kind of cool. It's the most straight evil you can think of, but it has some potential, so to speak. And it's the Legions of the Deranged. And it's from I Use the Evil, and it's in one of my favorite locations in the whole of the Flannies, and it might tell you how terrible I am as a DM. It's the Gibbering Gate. It's it's apparently it's some sort of excuse me, sort of guard force or something that has to do with the Gibbering Gate that kind of menacing the planes around it. So I have a sense that it's IU's way of telling, don't go around there trying to mess with the Gibbering Gate, because the legions of the deranged will come and get you. And so it might not be that much in real organization or anything. It might just be a bunch of loose things, critters that are completely insane, whatever, they just roam around, and you just give them a fancy name to scare people with. And but I kind of like the idea that is part, instead of having manning the walls and stuff, you send out some of your worst scum out there to just go and hunt the neighborhood, so to speak, and just kill everything that comes in sight. And it's kind of the worst prisoners get that as a sort of prize, so to speak. It's for good behavior or for bad behavior. Maybe the only way of getting out of the prison is behaving badly, not good, so to speak. You behave really bad, and I might let you out so you can roam the neighborhood, so to speak, and scare. So you can kind of turn a chaotic evil prison on his head. He's not supposed to to rehabilitate the inmates. It's supposed to do the other way around, make them worse than they were when they got in there in the first place. So you can make an irony, and I kind of like the legions of the deranged as part of it.
So Jumper is the illusionist who's nuts and does all the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Where did you have him place the amusement park he built?
That's interesting. I didn't know he had built an amusement park. That is awesome.
Yeah,
I
which
will place it near Hallern. Yes, I use new in my campaign. I use new headquarters. He's building it in the center location of his empire. So he's building a new capital in Hellorn, and that's where I will put Jumper's amusement park.
Yeah,
and you can imagine what kind of amusements there will be
well, exactly. He does a
at
lot of
his amusement park.
stuff
Yeah,
that's really, really
yeah,
insane on
yeah.
purpose, I think. I think
Mhm.
he's not insane. I think he does it to pretend he's insane, right?
Well, insane is probably something that is seen as being a savant intelligent
yeah,
in
true.
realm of IUs.
Right.
So yeah.
That's a cool one. Excellent. All right. Where are we going next here? So let me go to, oh boy. I forget. I think it's our Journal 23. Tell me if I'm wrong here.
Cotton candy.
Which Earth Journal? I thought I had them all preset. Maybe it's a 25, the Tarrasque edition of 25. Here, no, I already have that down twice. 23, 25. It's one of these. I'm looking for the Seeker. I'm looking for your Seeker article there, guys. Is it 23 or 25?
Seekers of the Arcane.
Yeah. Seekers of the Arcane. Is it here? There it is. Okay, I got it. Seekers. Seekers of the Arcane by Gary Holian and Rick Miller. Earth Journal number 25. So as we come here, so I always got confused between what the difference between a silent one and a seeker was, but there's a huge difference.
Yeah.
So here's the Seekers of the Arcane. Cartography with Dennis Tetra. So this gives you some really good history on the Seekers. Eli Tomaros was a Seeker, correct?
Yep.
Kellic in Age of Worms and Expedition to Ruins of Greyhawk is a Seeker as well. So, Gary, which one would you say, hey, roll for success, which one would you say is more vile to humankind? I'm saying it's the silent ones, correct? Because they don't want to limit magic. Is that correct?
The silent ones, yeah. The Seekers want to flaunt what they got. The silent ones want to bury it all.
Right. Okay. So this is a really good article on a lot of.
Here's another analogy. Sorry, Jay.
No, go for it.
The Seekers is Indiana Jones, and the silent ones are the top men.
Got it. But the Seekers may have some bad apples in there too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like, okay, Indy and Belloc are Seekers.
Okay.
Yeah. Raiders Lost Ark, love it.
So, Secret, and this is a great article that gives you a lot of information. This also shows a spot that is not on Malden's map, but is added, and I actually have placed this myself for the Seeker Compound Lodge. Now, it conflicts with something else that's there. There was a mistake was made on the Malden map. You just move that over a building or two either way, and it works. So I think it was a brotherhood of something building. Silent ones would be more like the brotherhood protecting the grail. Okay. So there you go. So it's a really cool, if you want to go through, there's no reason you couldn't do a whole campaign around the Seekers. Finding ancient lore, finding ancient magic items, finding
Yeah, that's an organization that is perfectly in line with adventuring groups.
So Gary says silent ones are less dangerous.
Well, yeah, they're not actively.
They're not active. As long as you're not threatening
going out there.
Okay. Where did the Seekers first appear?
Yeah.
Well, let me see this. So I have this wiki. Here, let me bring this back up. The wiki for the Seekers, and it appears that Seekers of the Arcane go back to Dungeon 114, Living Greyhawk Journal 4. In the Keeland article that Gary did, Earth Journal 20, it appears. So yeah, and they're also in Morning Kane's Fantastic Adventure. That's where, because Eli Tomarast is a seeker, so that's where that goes. Goes as far back as Morning Kane's Fantastic Adventure. But they have a lot of other, a lot of other references here, and you can just find this. Here's another one called from Onwell. I don't. I'd have to look this up. The Storm Seekers, Living Greyhawk. We did Onwell, so it's probably in there somewhere. So they sound. Are they weather chasers? I was like, I didn't have time to look them up, but like, yeah, we may have some weather chasers here. The Storm Seekers. So, any either of you have any comments on the Seekers?
I haven't. The Sheldamore Valley is very much a white area for me. I haven't
Okay.
been adventuring there, but they're cool. I like things that are a little bit of an enigma, so to speak. That things that yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
I ran a lot of Mar Castle stuff back in the day. Dungeon 112, City Greyhawk, Duchy of Ernst. I used a lot of that material.
Mm-hmm.
So read this here in the end of the article. The mysterious Seer of Ernst has taken up residence at the Free City Seeker Lodge. So that's that location on the map here. And look, after Malden is named here. Malden and Yaya Gloon have struck an agreement with that permits seekers in the need of higher arcana training to take up an apprenticeship with the wily mustached archmage.
Oh,
So there you go. Yeah.
Awesome.
In return, Malden has been granted full access to the secret libraries within the Free City and special research privileges regarding any information on Zagig's activities with the castle prior to his disappearance. So there you go. That's pretty neat. Good job there, Gary. You guys.
So now we know we
can.
Yeah,
Games over 100. Wow.
Wow.
Good to see Chuck and Steven and
Yep.
Davis and Luke. I know you guys got another stream you got to do on, but thank you so very much. Raid in. We got multiple giveaways tonight, everyone. Some great Classic D&D reprints. Please follow. You should follow before you sign up for them because followers get one ticket, and then if you're a subscriber, you get bonus tickets. So it's good to see you all. Thank you so very much. I hope you had a great discussion with Luke and crew there, and thank you for coming in and hang out with us. And Troller Games has been a great sponsor of this channel for years. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. We're talking factions, organizations, and guilds within Greyhawk. So we're really getting into the weeds here. Good to see you, Brooding. Thank you all for the follows, and just note that you could play with Steven Chenault, or you could play with Chuck Combo, with them DMing during Virtual Greyhawk Con 4, or you could play with and joust against Luke Gygax if you sign up for Virtual Greyhawk Con 4 and get into those events that open up on Saturday at noon. And there's the login for it. It's a $5 nominal fee just to cover TTE costs. Please, you need a credit card, though. They don't take PayPal. So, thanks. Oh, Patrick gave it to Malden. Malden must be lurking then. So,
yeah.
Good to see you all. And thank you so very much. And you get your choice of multiple great, like, for example, here's Scarlet Brotherhood reprint. We're going to do 2 giveaways. So thank you all for coming in. And good to see you. All right. So Seekers are really awesome. Really great detail work done by Gary. Cool, Broomgale. Yes. There's a lot of options of events, and we'll go over that again. So note, this Seekers compound map is not on the Malden change map, which I guarded. It took me, 3 years to get, and then, I have it buried here somewhere. So go ahead there. Here it is. I got it right here. I want to keep it nice. Mike, what do we got? What organization, guild, or faction would you like to talk about next?
Yeah, Seekers, really good one.
Yeah.
Would be nice to go into more detail on that, but yeah, mostly all I have left is more City of Greyhawk stuff. Seekers is a nice late addition to that. One I wanted to really bring up real quick from the City of Greyhawk box set once again is that Lawyers and Scribes Guild that we talked about not that long ago in the languages topic we did. The City of Greyhawk box set says that the Lawyers and Scribes Guild is, quote, the most powerful guild in the city.
Really?
Which is interesting because apparently they write all the laws and they control all the bureaucracy.
Let's go to guilds here.
And they have
see
that
their
thing
box
about
set.
where they do all their official documents are done in the ancient Sewell language. So, their monopoly is controlled by that language, basically. And there is I'm trying to think, the School of Clerkship, so they train their own, apprentices at this school, and they probably, it costs 500 gold pieces just to apprentice in this guild. So it's
so it's more than even
only for the affluential.
It's even more than to join the Guild of Wizardry.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Their guild master is Sir Anton, and he's one of the rulers of the city. He's one of the oligarchs. He's one of the oldest guys on the oligarchy, and he's, because of this influence he has, I can just picture him, the different factions on the oligarchy all vying for his favor. He knows this. And because he controls, the courts and everything, he can make or break anyone in that city, legally or not. He could be underhanded and, set up Nerf Gazgall with criminal charges, or he can play nice with the Thieves Guild and go after all their enemies. So the Lawyers and Scribes Guild is powerful if you play it right.
There are Sir Anton Palmerian is a member of the directing oligarchy and the city's foremost authority on legal affairs. Although a city judge, he rarely arbitrates in court. So there is so much good little depth lore of personages and names of people. They don't have stats, but you can create them in here, and really get some good melding in here. So
yeah, if you want to give your players an enemy or benefactor, Sir Anton would be a nice one that doesn't get used often. Because like I said, the guy has influence and power for days. And, if you had, it's like having a Supreme Court justice, as your friend.
Right.
Or your enemy. Just think about that.
Yeah, well, there's an adventure with a judge. Oh my God, I don't know. Is it an adventure card? Or is it a published adventure with a Judge Porthos who goes a side way? Did you ever run that one, Mike?
No, it's not ringing a bell.
Goes and it went sideways on the group. That was really good. I got to find that. I got to go back to my log of over 1,000 adventures, find it, and then look it back up because I forget where the reference of where that one comes from. I want to say it's an adventure card, but I'm not 100% sure if it's that or if it was in a dungeon magazine. How easy would it be to pay off a scribe or misplace a document? Very easy. Yeah,
Probably very easy.
Very easy, but they would make it so that if they got caught, you'd be going down.
Yeah, I'm just saying it'd be fun if your players are into that kind of entry. That would be getting into the legal system would be a doozy.
They can always be, they will offer, say that for a fee, you can have it.
Yeah. What's up, Von Malku?
Yeah.
Michael's got a game for Virtual GregCon as well. All right, so that was a great one, Mike. Thank you for that.
Awesome.
What do you got, Anna?
I have one that is not really an organization. It's more kind of in that sense, more of a faction because it's Johidi's children. It's described, I think, in Ivy the Undying. It's kind of interesting. It's the origin deity of Johidi I don't know how to pronounce it better.
I say Joy-D because I
Joy-D, yeah.
destroy
So
everything.
special people are born with special talents, and they're called the Joy-D children. And there are several examples, and they are the ones that are strange, otherworldly people with that I would say they appear in the description like they are autistic. And but they have special magic abilities and stuff like that. And it's one of these. It's not an organization. It's more like a phenomena that certain people have, but you can make it into maybe Joy-D is gifting certain people something and so on. But it's worth a read, and it's really interesting. And for me, it was very interesting because Joy-D is one of Hieronymus' allies, so that made it very interesting for my Shieldlands campaign. So it plays a little part.
How many do you have written up in your game? Do you have any that you utilize?
No, I have one that
Okay,
yeah, I'm not going to spill the beans yet because it's one of these things that I've spilled enough. I'm going to wait until after my characters have been. Ubika Dorman was one that I've spilled the beans that I hope my players don't watch this. So I know a couple of them probably do, but so I'm going to not spill this one because this was supposed to be a secret. So yeah. But it's an interesting read, and I can recommend it. It's in Ivid the Undying, and it's written. And if you combine that with the information on Joy-D on Greyhawk wiki or something, then you can make some really cool, interesting stuff with it. Exactly. Saint Benedor is one of the children of Joy-D.
Awesome.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's a great one.
Yep. So it's one of these interesting things that is not necessarily an organization, but I would kind of call it a faction because it's something you can kind of clump together and described in one bit, so to speak. And you can make it into, maybe it is a secret organization that no one knows about or something. So yeah.
So if we go, let's go.
And they're good, neutral good. Joy-D is neutral good. Hero goddess of deception, espionage, and protection. Awesome goddess. Love her. Yeah.
Because I do not keep track of factions numerically. It's more by feel. It's got, because I have 2,000 characters. So yeah, but I can see some people do it. There's Josh. So, all right, this book is obscure, 3rd edition. Maybe you like them, but I have a whole series of these. Right, Sword and Fist. Oh, Jay uses 3rd edition stuff. Sometimes when good ideas are Defenders of the Faith. Tome.
Gary.
Tome and Blood. What's that?
Oh, sorry, Gary. Is that just a joke or satire, or is it real? Ooh, okay.
Maybe he expanded on it.
Yeah, I'm kind of awesome. So yeah. I'm looking forward. Please write about it. Sorry, Jay.
No, that's okay. You sure, Gary? I mean, you got to get Joe Manganiello's approval. I'm kidding. It's good. Very cool. That would make sense. But fallen from grace. So, Sword and Fist. Lots of great factions, all Greyhawk. Let's take a look at them.
Yep.
I know. All right. Oh my God! It switched. So somehow the numbers are switching on the bar somehow, because I moved it back and then it switched back to 14. It moved 14 and 13 backwards. Oh my gosh! I swear to you, I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm gonna look physically. Oh my God! All right. So here are some of the organizations in the campaign out of this book. The Fists of Hextor. Might makes right. It also makes a pretty good living.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's the Knight Protectors of the Great Kingdom to go into some more detail here. There's a lot of detail in Living Greyhawk as well. And there's a lot of detail in Ivid the Undying. So you got multiple options for this, but this was 3rd edition. Knights of the Watch are in here, which is good. Right? Another location to find more information on the Knights of the Watch. Also, if you have Living Greyhawk Geoff information, then you can get that there too. All right. This is my favorite. This one doesn't make sense in a way. I'm going to show you why. But this is the Ravagers. and this is what Bill the Master Crafter was talking about. Their motto: "Your pleas for mercy only make me more angry." So these Ravagers are a group that are Ruthnal worshippers, and they just go out and slaughter individuals. They just will kill only for killing purposes. I think they are loosely based on the Free Reavers from the Ivid box set, but they take it one step further. They roam the lands, killing everything they come across. Very, very chaotic evil. Now here's the problem, which you just make a change here. To get into the Ravagers, you have to first be pre-accepted and then go through a series of tortures, and then you have to fight a Ravager to the death and defeat a Ravager to take his or her place. See the problem? How do they ever how do they ever grow in numbers if you kill one and replace them? You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense, but in this book. But yeah, they're very, very. This is as chaotic evil, as awful as you can get, and that's why I like them. I've never used them in my campaign. I've used a lot of Erythral armies and followers, but this is as far off the beaten path you can get to just civilization. These are all awful, awful individuals. And I think there's a couple other good groups in here. The Red Avengers, they're a group of, and these are monks, if I recall. We live only for vengeance. Yeah, yeah. What? How can you grow your numbers if you're always killing one and then replacing? So this is a good book to get some faction ideas. Some of these other books have faction ideas too. All right, not all of them, but some of them have other faction ideas, and they're pretty inexpensive because they were not very popular. They're basically splat books for 3rd edition.
Yeah,
so,
there were tons of awesome, cool stuff back then. So that is.
If you eat too many bag tacos, you become a Ravager. You may come more than that too. So, but I just wanted to share this that publication because I thought it was really cool. I love the Free Reavers way more than the Ravagers because that makes a little more sense, and they're Ruthnal worshippers too. So and they have a little more of a purpose. But this is Sword and Fist 3rd edition book, so just wanted to share that with everyone. All right, we got time for one more round here before we do shout outs and giveaways. And then find someone to raid into. So, who's the... Oh, see you, Rex Wallace. Good to see you, man. Thank you. Go ahead, Mike. What do we got as we round this up?
Well, okay. So I'm sitting here thinking I haven't really created a whole lot of guilds, I would say, per se. Like all has, their clans and tribes and things and war bands. Yeah, I could talk about those things, I suppose, but it doesn't feel the same to me what we're talking about here. But I will say that the Mokwalite is not liked in all. All loves to seize their stuff, merchants, goods. But anyhow, faction and organization wise, what I have created is for the Hold of the Sea Princes, and I got the fleets concept. I got 3 that I work with, and so I don't know if I suppose these are just factions. They're definitely political. These are all pre-wars, of course, until the Scarlet Road smashes them. But you got the Prince's fleet who follow Prince Gian, so the good guys. And then you got the Toli Armada who follow the Prince of Port Toli, the bad guys. And then anyone else who's unaffiliated is just assumed to belong to the Hold Flotilla. That being, if the Hold of the Sea Prince is attacked, well, there's always going to be some, additional armadas of all the fishermen and other loose non-warships might band together anyways and create a 3rd fleet. So the idea there is simple. The Prince's fleet's probably more in line to trade with other nations on the Azure Sea. The Toli Armada is much more interested in exploration and exploitation of, say, the jungles in these South Seas islands. Oh
What,
yeah,
what about the Sea Prince? I mean, what about the Scarlet Brotherhood?
and the Scarlet Brotherhood, if
I'm
they
kidding.
come in there,
They get slaughtered.
then
Good.
they just the whole fleet system goes out of the water. Now, if you want to
Good point.
play the Sea Prince's like rebellion storyline, then you could come back with the fleet still and say, hey, all the ships that got away,
Attack.
all the ships that were out of port, they were still aligned with either Prince or Independent, and they could create a fourth fleet. Or, if Prince Gion's still out there somewhere, he wasn't, one of the nobles who got killed, then you could say, oh, well, everyone's rallying to the Prince's fleet, or so on and so forth. So you could still use the idea of the fleets to
Could you
either,
have like a sub faction of a fleet where you have a special assault unit fleet part of, that way you could
sure,
make it smaller because
yeah,
for venturing purposes, two or
yeah,
three ships. Yeah,
oh yeah.
cool.
Well, within the fleets, there is the Commodores. There's three Commodores of the islands, and the Commodores then would command an amount of ships themselves. So yeah, you could keep breaking the fleets down smaller and smaller. I just use general terms because naval warfare and D&D is kind of each person has their own take on it. So these could be ginormous fleets, or they could just be smaller affairs. I don't know. It's everyone's mileage may vary. So yeah, you could have a sub fleet to the main fleet, I guess.
Could you link your articles on the fleets, at least the first one, and the ones come after that? I know you did a big one, and that was about 2 years ago.
Well, it's in an Earth journal for sure.
Oh, it's an Earth Journal. What Earth Journal number? I can never
That's a
remember.
good
Was it in the
question.
factions
I
one?
can never remember.
Yeah, factions is
It's
31.
the factions. Yeah, it's the factions episode.
Or is that 29?
Um,
I want to say that's 31. I think it's 31.
okay, I do have an article on the.
Oh my freaking god!
You do it again.
I did it fucking again.
Yep. It's good that you have the emote. Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right. I have a blog post, The Pirate Fleets of Greyhawk, which takes this concept of fleets beyond the hold of the Sea Princes, because I was running a campaign and started to realize that there's possibly a lot of pirate groups out there. And
I don't see it in this one.
they have their own lore and connections.
Let me try 29. I have 29 and 31, which I thought would be the two biggest ones. Let's just check the.
It's why don't I know? That is.
Anyone know what article number? I'm going for record, man. I just
Yeah, he's going for a
it's
record.
crazy.
Smashed the record.
Anyone know? I don't. Yeah, because I think I have the 31 is the factions one. I thought. Yeah, this is factions. Is it after this? Yeah. You're gonna have to do a showing. The Goblin Shield. If you keep it. Yeah. Well, no, that's the Mongrels of the Future Tongue, Lord Taker. All right. Well, Mike, if you can link, all right, you linked the blog spot. Good, good.
Yeah,
Sorry, I can't find it.
Probably plenty good.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, it's really
okay.
great
It's
stuff.
32. I
32.
Found it.
Okay.
It's Earth Journal 32.
All right, I got to go to the Earth Journal sub. Give me 1 second. I can do that for you. Earth Journal 32. There we go. Okay. Earth Journal 32. These are already 3 years old. I mean, where's the time go? Just crazy. I had the Axis of Arnafane in this one. Unconquered Hold the Sea Princess, page 28. Awesome. Yep. There it is. And look, we got timelines and everything here. What if? There you go. What if the Scarlet Brotherhood never took over? That's why it was all. It was That's why it's in this one. Cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
And here is my associated maps showing the faction breakdown of the Sea Princes.
This is
Political
awesome
maps
because
and
this is
everything.
really broken down. If you want to do a lot of wonderful adventuring, it's all here for you in the Sea Prince's lands. You can do all sorts of great
Yeah, don't
sub
let the Scarlet
adventuring.
Brotherhood ruin it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic article. The detail level here is top notch, Mike. Plus, it has all the published adventures that are nearby, which is great as well. So, awesome one, Mike. Very, very cool. All right, Anna, finish yours up here.
There's two that I think we should mention that I think you know, Jay, you know more about than most people do, and that's the two gnarly organizations, the gnarly druids and the gnarly rangers. I think, yeah. So Jay, can't you elude us or inform us a little bit more about these two?
All right,
because I don't know much, but I think they need to be named or mentioned. I think because they are classic.
There are three I want to mention.
Oh, three. Okay.
Three. Yep. I'm almost there. Give me 1 second. We're
yeah.
So there's Oakving. I'm going reverse up here.
Is the Druids Conclave? No, that's
all right, here we go. I got
different.
It right here. So here are the ones I would discuss in this area. All right, good one, Nana. Oh, I almost did it again. Oh. All right. First off, and this, if you're classic Sam, if you're on, here are the Sylvan Elven clans here in the gnarly. You got Clan Sherendil, that's the one your character belongs to, Sam. You got Clan Meldorin, Clan Felafel, and Clan Enlefel. So you can actually, if you want Sylvan Elf or half elf Sylvan Elves, you can come from these clans in the gnarly forest, and that is and it tells you all about the what there are. For example, Sherendil, finest elven warriors. They respect the knights and rangers, and we'll talk about that. And they're pragmatic, to the point, dealing with outsiders. So, yes. So there you go, Sam. This is on page 40 of this is where your elven gnarly forest clan of your character comes from. In the From the Ashes box set. Now let's scroll down here. The Gnarly Forest Rangers. Okay, 200 of them, born woodsmen with few half elves, a lot of humans, and they do not care about the squabbles of divers in the Greyhawk over territory. They would like to see Celine's influence diminish. That's mostly in the Gnarly and the Welkwood. And they are an organization that, it's rangers, covering that. The Gnarly Forest is fairly large if you look at it. It's not as large as the Vestry, it's a fairly large location. So, and there are Ranger Knights. There's a whole bunch of information in here about, their signals. They have all sorts of really cool things for Rangers. And this is one of the few spots, besides Will's work that he's done. William Henry director, great work on the Rangers of Greyhawk. This is a great spot to know about the Gnarly Forest Rangers. The next faction here is the Swan Maze.
Oh, yes, I forgot about them. Yeah.
There are 44 Swan Maze that dwell here, almost all within the area. Except the guidance of Matriarch Serendia. She's multi-class. 1214, Specialty Priest of Alana Ranger. Kick butt. So, the Swan Maze community is devoted to spying on the margins of the Forest of Evil. So basically, a Swan Maze is a human or half elven who's been given a special token or idol that allows them to turn into a Swan May, and they actually are a swan with magic resistance and all sorts of other special abilities. So, and they are in the original Monster Manual, but it's really cool. So that's another one in this area of. But there is another one in the area for me and for some other people, and that's the Dark Druids, another faction, which is I have in here. We just went over that with Rob Kuntz last Saturday on his discussion. So, yeah, we didn't go over the mega ones, Gary. We didn't go over slavers. We didn't go over the knighthoods because we did a whole one on the knighthoods, right? So we really didn't. We stayed away from that, which is pretty good. Or my Order of Ulick, or the Knights of the Holy Shielding. We can do a one on that. Anna's done a great job with some real obscure ones. So, Dream Dwemer Masters Kingdom. So,
I really tried to limit myself to like business
Yeah, which is
guilds.
cool.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, slave lords would maybe fall into that category. I guess they're capturing the
Yeah.
slaves to
Yeah.
turn some kind of profit, right?
They're definitely a faction, I would say, that they're kind of a loose, that
You can see
they're
a bonus.
attached to a network of organizations or something. It's or working for a common cause or something. So yeah.
Let's do one more down that was since we're here, and that is one that I
Yeah.
play in a lot.
Please. Yeah.
The Narwhal Headhunters.
Yes.
Headhunters are here. The Headhunters, that sounds bad, but they're not. Well, they take the heads of evil bandits and humanoids and anti-paladins and all sorts of other nasties in the area, and it's a real fun campaign area that we do. And this map, it is what it is, right? So, but it's a really fun area to adventure in. The Wild Coast is just filled with, and now that Rob Kuntz is actively participating in the community, it's even going to get better, right? Because this is his wheelhouse. I mean, it's called what? What's it called? What's his Wild Coast called? Barbarian, yeah,
Barbarian Coast or something.
Barbary Coast, right?
Barbary Coast, yeah.
Yeah. So it's gonna even get better because he has his coast area here that this was based off of. So another good one.
Yeah, Gary brought up the
Barbarous
mongrels
Coast.
of the
Thank you, Amy.
putrid tongue. Yeah, we have to.
What, the mongrels?
Yeah, Gary mentioned them.
Yeah. I save them for a Gavin mod because they only exist in my campaign. But
Yeah.
you've seen the. You want to see the whole vid? Here's the whole stinking vid. I've shown it enough. Here you go. This is Tim, everyone.
Wouldn't it be funny if it did function this time? Yeah.
Enough of this shit. Give him the tongue. Thanks for the lick.
There you go. That's the Mongols of the Putrid Tongue. Another faction in my game. Yes. They prefer not to kill you. They prefer to. His poor daughter. Yeah, we helped with that. They prefer to take your tongue and then put it on a shield and animate them all so they all go. Yeah. The more tongues you have, the more status you have. There you go. Plus, they breed orcs with anything. Remember, orcs can breed with almost anything in existence. So. That does look too real. All right, so I know we're running up on time here. So throw out some in chat, everyone, that we didn't get to that you are like, oh, this would have been cool. So, yep. Tim's a genius. Tim's a crazy genius. You should all know that by now.
Yep.
So, yep. Crazy, crazy genius. We're going to do the giveaways very shortly here. Anyone with any other factions, organizations, or guilds out there? So, had some fun stuff. Somewhere there's a homeless man with no tongue. Well, yes, there are a lot of tongueless people in Tim's world. And missing a lot of toenail clippings, too. We won't go into that, too. The GOGS. Ah! The Beggars Guild of Altamira. We'll learn more about that one day, along with the Beggars Guild of yeah. Yes. Good one, John. Good one. There are 2 Thieves Guilds in Altamira, too. One created by Roger Moore, which I have to change the name of, and one, the Human Thieves Guild, run by Lord Jarius the Deposed. The other one's Spunk from Dragon 60. So, very cool. Teamsters. There's a lot of Teamsters. There's 2 one published source, a Teamster Guild, the Abel Carter Coaching Company, and then in my game, Pete and John's Teamster Service, and they kind of are at war of each other because I use the Enforces. This is right in Expeditions to the Ruins of Greyhawk. Have infiltrated Abel Carter Coaching Company. Imagine that. Your Canada Dry sparkling seltzer. Right. So, yep. Keep me. The Guild of Gentle Supplication. I don't even want to know what that is, John. That sounds like they go all at the Tickling Feather or something.
Yeah.
So, yes. Fishmongers Guild. Yeah. So, yep. Fun stuff. So, this is a fun discussion. We could get into the weeds and could do a lot of stuff in detail. Like, I think our knighthood one was like number 32 or something.
Yeah.
We should probably do another knighthood one.
We can probably do another one. Yep.
Yeah. Trade goods. Yeah. And that would be a good one for trade goods and Teamsters and trade goods or something like that. That would be a good one. I'll see if even Tim could come on on a Wednesday night. It may be tough, but the Lollipop Guild, no. In fact, on my WoW server, there was a guild called the Lollipop Guild, and everyone hated them so much they went in PvP and slaughtered them all the time. Couldn't stand them. Yep. Best source. Yeah. Absolutely. That though, Wayne, you're right. The Teamsters would be great for maps. 100%. The Guild Masters Guild.
The
Well,
Guild of Guilds.
the guilds of guilds. All right. So a great discussion tonight. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you for the raids from Blue Box, and thank you for the raids from Troller Games. Made it a fun night. I've been asked to relay after the giveaway. We will be raiding into someone, but if you have nothing better to do, you can go to the Gary Con YouTube channel for Gary Con and watch them talk with Luke about what was missed from
Yep.
while they were on before they raided into us. They're doing another one there, I believe. So, thank you, Wayne. Alrighty, let's do some shout outs. Mike, what's going on? I got a lot of clothes here.
Nothing new going on.
What?
What?
No, nothing to report.
Okay.
We'll see y'all at virtual Greyhawk.
Yes. Sign-ups are Saturday at noon. Like I said, we had four still needed to get in. John, Eric Mengi, and 2 from Alan Growy. Thanks, Mike, for really bringing up some good ones tonight. It's really appreciated.
Yeah, it was not too shabby.
Awesome. Anna.
I'm working on the plot for the adventure for virtual Greyhawk, and it will be tied into my Greyhawk campaign. Now I just need to, but it will be a lot of deception and it will be a lot of double things, so to speak, and it will be combat and mystery, a kind of a thriller and with tons of combat into it. So I hope it could be fun, and it will be kind of a go overland thingy, and maybe I want to throw at least one dungeon in there. So that will be, depending on where you go. I will leave I have to guide a little bit because we only have 4 hours, but it will be fun part. 7, 8th level characters, so there will be some. So you will have some punching power, so to speak. So they will be can be messy and interesting. So that part of it. I'm also working on putting it out in. First, I'm hopefully I'm going to do the final test in a couple of days when the temperature goes down a little bit. A render test, and I've actually hopefully solved the last bit of issue with my drainage, with my tiled drainage, that I'm going to write a deep tech thingy on that. And then I'm right up, and that's kind of a deep technical thing, but it's been bugging me for 5 years, and I hopefully have solved it. It looks good, so to speak. So the test renders looks really good. So I'm going to put it to the test soon with the re-render of Altamira, and hopefully re-render on my Shieldlands campaign as well. to see if it works. So that's part. And I'm also writing a blog post that will hopefully be the next one on my about inspiration, how to go about if you want to do maps of a fantasy world and visualize things like castles and cities and detailed stuff. Why not do a tour of real world castles and stuff? But it's kind of sometimes expensive and difficult to go around the world and go across Europe and stuff. And to me, the inside of castles and the layout of stuff, that's usually very well documented. There are maps, YouTube videos, websites and stuff that detail the castle or the stuff in itself. But what they don't have is how it's laid in the land, meaning what can you, if you look at the landscape, where are things placed? Why is it placed that way? How are the roads going in and out? And I found the perfect tool for doing that. Microsoft Flight Sim is awesome because it has awesome graphics. You can fly to these areas and you can look around and they are points of interest, so you can see them really well. So I'm flying around Europe because they've done a bunch of updates. I'm virtually flying around Europe looking at medieval cities, castles, and stuff. So I'm going to put down some screenshots and a little bit of a diary from my virtual recon tour in Europe, going through castles and medieval and Renaissance cities and stuff, and kind of showing off and make a couple of what I noticed from there, so to speak, that I will have use of in my mapping, so to speak. So I've been to Lisbon, I've been to Santiago de Compostela in northern Spain. I just got to Carcassonne in southern France. That is an awesome medieval city. I've been there for real. It's gorgeous. It's as close to fantasy you can come on in the real world, so to speak. But there's another castle that I that I couldn't get to in the real world, that is up in the Pyrenees, not far from Carcassonne. So these are things, and I want to see, why do they place, what are the locations of stuff, so to speak, and how they live are in the landscape, so to speak, and the road network and stuff like that. And so these things are coming. I'm going to Avignon. I'm going to Rome. I'm going to up in various places in the Alps and stuff on the way, and then Slovakia, the eastern part, Croatia, Dubrovnik, and stuff like that, to look at them again. So that's part of my virtual inspiration tour, to kind of see how lay of the land, so to speak. It combines two hobbies, and I think it's actually beneficial for both, so to speak. Keep my flying skills good, and it also fun inspiration to look at. And I'm also going to especially look at ports. I'm going to see what old ports would look like in these cities, and then I read all the Wikipedia and the information about it to gather some stuff. And I'm also going to read a thick book I have of old ancient to medieval city design. I have a book that is 300 pages long, and I'm going to read it through to study that. So that will be part of my, so yeah.
Very
So
cool.
so that was the next updates. On Friday there will be a mapping live stream, and we'll see if I can have fun, or if we'll be watching paint dries, because I need to place cities and towns on the Flanies in GIS. So that might be it. But we might do some streets and stuff like that too. So to catch up on that stuff. So yeah. That's it.
I almost hit a wrong button again. I stopped myself.
Uh-oh.
So what is
One quick shout out.
Go for it, Mike.
Read David Leonard's blog, Correct Musings.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
He's got some stuff up. So there you go.
Yeah, always have good stuff. Yeah.
What's not better than being able to slaughter a bunch of Prince of Ulick dwarves and not feel bad about it? Well, that happened last Thursday, because they're in the Twisted Forest, and if you know about the Twisted Forest, they're out there for multiple purposes. Supposedly, there's a base for a certain faction that is raiding into the west of the Promarge and into the Principality of Ulick that can't be located somewhere near the Twisted Forest. And also, there's this group of dwarves that are missing. Well, it turns out, if you know about the Twisted Forest, they were all possessed by ancient Sul that were cursed there. So what are you going to do about that? Well, there was a big fight, and here's the fight going on. Just was awesome, and we're going to continue this tomorrow night. Just note. So now there will be a recovery mission for all those corpses coming out. We'll show that in a second. Yeah, but some great new terrain out there. We're getting really up on the mountains and all the escarpments, all cool stuff. So it really is a neat 3D prints going a long way. That's Thursday. Then Saturday from 9 to 1, I got a special event here called the Corpse Recovery. I wonder what that's all about. So yeah, with dwarves. We got Heather Hex, Little Bird, Classic Sam, first time ever playing, Rob Phantom, Stiletto Assassin back with her Fire Elementalist, Tempest OC, and Mike Disney, all playing. And that's Saturday morning. I will have to stop at 5 minutes before noon and get that set up for the Virtual Crowd Con signups, to allow the signups to happen. So If you're on watching and I haven't done it, will you, someone please freaking remind me if I'm in the middle of because I have to do it because everyone will be waiting around waiting for that to go. So I don't trust Josh to do it. So sorry, Josh. All right, and then there'll be a Gavin Sunday night, which I don't know the topic on. Please note, I more than likely will not have a Legends Lore next Wednesday due to work obligations.
Yeah,
Right.
we might not have a game this Sunday because we have it's busy season for at least 2 of our players. Or my players might be busy on Sunday, so it's still in hanging in the air, so to speak, if there will be a session or not.
Thanks, Fuzz. Appreciate it. All right. Let's do
What was the
giveaways.
topic for Gavin this Sunday?
I don't have one yet. I haven't gotten.
Okay,
that far
good. Yep,
I haven't got. We had a great one last time, and I just spread them out a couple weeks. We'll do the one on Druids, Rangers, and all that stuff coming up. But I will
we figure something out.
Yeah, I'm going to work on that tomorrow or Friday.
Yep.
So yeah,
good.
absolutely. Had to check see. Yeah, well, History of the World Part 2. It would have been funny if they actually did come out with that. All right. So last call. Let's do these giveaways. Let's see who won. You get your choice here. I got Scarlet Brotherhood. I got Treasures of Greyhawk. I got all sorts of adventures here. I got Ravenloft, Ghost Tower, Border Watch, Earthshaker, Endless Stare by Ed Greenwood, Durgam's Folly. You know, just it goes on and on and on. All this stuff I got, courtesy of Patrick. I actually have a Fiend Folio. I have a Tomb of Abastor. Wonderful, wonderful stuff, and thank you very much. So let's go to tomorrow night's Infinite Dimensions games giveaways. $20 gift certificates. They're having a big sale, and for one person who doesn't have a 3D printer or some Reaper minis. All right, gonna close this out. 2 winners. Let's see who wins tonight. Winner number 1, Keith Jr. 42. Congrats. As long as you're on to second winner. Remember, if they're not both on, then I'll have to pick Cardman 2467. We know Cardman. Let me take a look. Let's see. Keith Jr. Is Keith Jr. on? Yeah, he's on. All right, so I'll let him reach out to me. Keith Jr. and Cardman. Cardman, let me know. I'll reach out to Keith Jr. by whisper. I'm gonna raid into Razzmatazz. They're doing a talk show. Kind of been following us lately. Yep. We're going to raid into them, and then we're going to please once again. Here's the link. If you want to catch some of the what's going on with Gary Kahn stuff, it's right there on YouTube. I think they're live right now. All right. See you all. Anna, Mike, thanks. Fun show. We didn't go super late either, so.
Yep, perfect.
Fun show, and I will see you all. Tomorrow night, 7:30, for a fun one. And it's going to be, they're going to have to split the party. Well, unless they just say no, but you'll trust me. It's a different kind of idea on this one. To deal with the problem out there. I think it'll be pretty neat. See y'all tomorrow. Okay. Well, I hit a freaking wrong button for the 20th time. My gosh. Let me set the rate up. Doing a talk show over there, so. And don't forget, please go over to Gary Kahn. Oh my gosh. Change too much stuff. Always changing stuff around in Twitch. There we go. I'm trying to find it. There we go. All right. And thank you all thank you for the raids and Troller Games and Box, and wow, it's gonna be good. 77, 78, nice size. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you tomorrow night.